Oh, hi, everybody. Welcome to tonight's Joe and Joe Weather Show. Joe on the top, Joe on the bottom. It is Friday, the 22nd of January. We don't normally do a Friday night. Oh, sorry, I just heard a little background noise. Usually we don't do a Friday night show, but we didn't do a Thursday night show. And I didn't think we had anything much different to say last night. So now we're one day closer to the next event. A salute.
Is there anything wrong?
No,
Oh,
Lahaim.
okay. Take a sip. Take a sip, Joe.
This is all that's left of the gallon.
So that's why you took off last night.
No, I just had a couple of errands I had to take care of. The Joe and Joe Weather Show is brought to you by our friends at Omni True Value Hardware, Long Island's largest rock salt source, and your source for everything you need to get through whichever winter storm winds up affecting us, one or both or neither. 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, 631-756-1125. And it's a local business, folks, and no better time than now to support your local businesses. And they do have the best prices in town. They serve the entire tri-state area, and they not only have rock salt, but all the snow melting products and everything you need for winter storm cleanup. And the website is omnitruevalue.com. So I assume you got to see everything today. I'm curious about
Yes.
your never to be humble opinions on both systems.
What might I say other than the fact that for the last couple of days, the European has been saying storm on Tuesday, snowstorm, snow, and the GFS and the other models have been saying, yeah, well, maybe. And
Well,
today,
it
the
might,
GFS
it
and the other
might not.
GFS and the other models are saying like snow, and now look who's pulling back the European. So who the heck knows?
Well, you're talking about the second one now too, more the second
No, I'm
one.
talking about the first. The
Well,
first
even the
one.
first two. Honestly, of the two of them, you pointed out the other night that the second one was probably going to wind up being a powerhouse, and I think that will be the case. The first one, I don't know. It just has me doing a kind of a shrug my shoulders type of thing because I'm not really overly enthused by the upper air with it. Uh, there's not a whole lot of support. Uh, if you look at the way the upper air trough, it just actually kind of flattens out as it moves eastward. So that makes it problematic right there. And as far as the second one is concerned, that's become a little more interesting to me. I think the block is trying to relax somewhat, and that is going to be another key to that one too. And I noticed the GFS and the Canadian models today pulled it up a little bit further to the north. So maybe there'll be a little more room for the second one, which I think might depend on what the first one does.
The Canadian model even tries to it physically actually brings snow up into our area um, for the Thursday storm. The other models are still suppressed, as you're right. It's further north than recent days, and it is looks like it's going to be once it gets its feet wet out over the Gulf Stream, it looks like it's really going to wind up very significantly. But again, right now, it looks like the lion's share. It looks like it could very well be a big snowfall for, Southern Virginia, North Carolina, those places, as
Oh,
opposed
maybe
to
even up into Maryland and
up here.
Delaware. Yeah, agreed. At least that's what it looks like now. But it's really all about the block. If the block relaxes a little bit, you might get that extra nudge northward that you would need to bring the storm further north to our area and any point north of that zone. But all right, first things first, I guess we can start with tonight. I noticed that there were a few snow showers on the radar because we've got this little cold front that's moved on through, falling apart as it does so. And this is a shot of cold air that's coming down for tomorrow and Sunday.
No question about it. It's going to be decidedly colder. And of the 2 weekend days, Joe, I said that tomorrow is going to be the day where we're going to be seeing wind chills in the low 20s and teens. in spite of any sunshine. I think most of the sun tomorrow will be tomorrow morning. Clouds will come in during the midday and especially the afternoon. And then as we move into Sunday, it'll still be quite brisk out there, but I think a little more sun, slightly warmer temperatures, and also we will be looking at
I'm here.
conditions that
Sorry.
will be not quite as cold as what we're going to see tomorrow. Tomorrow night, of the 2 nights, tonight and tomorrow night, I think tomorrow night is going to be bitter cold. I could see temperatures, wind chill temperatures sometime tomorrow night in some places dipping down close to or maybe even briefly getting below zero. It's going to be a HYHN tomorrow night, a hug your honey night,
Oh,
at least in this forecaster's opinion.
well, if that is what is
If you
required,
happen to have a honey to hug.
yes, if exactly, if that is what is required, then by all means, please do. This-
Yes.
the upper trough. This is the last one. We've had a series of these sort of weak upper troughs and weak cold fronts that have come through the last few days. So this is the last one of the bunch, and now we're going to have cold high pressure in here for the weekend. You can see on the satellite still a lot of clouds around the Great Lakes, and also finally got some sunshine here today where I am in North Georgia as the cloud line pushed southward. But there's still clouds moving across the Gulf states. And let's see if I can manage to pull up the radar tonight and see what that does and see what we get out of it anyway. I know it's still the Weather Service radar, but what can I tell you? Uh, it is what it is. And I'll get close up, but still getting some snow showers here back in western Pennsylvania. Some heavier snow showers still going on in upstate New York. You know, a lot of folks were pointing out, by the way, that Syracuse this year seems to, which is maybe of the major cities, one of the snowiest city in the U.S. And it's been in a snow hole apparently this winter. Every places around it have gotten snow, but Syracuse is running. I forgot what the number is, but it's a very large number of inches below normal, and they're actually getting a little bit of snow tonight. And you can see there's an east-west band running from south of from Lake Ontario, and they seem to be coming in toward the Rochester, Syracuse, Utica area, and just west of Albany. Some snow showers along the coast in Maine, little patch there in northern Connecticut, some patchy snow showers across Pennsylvania and into Ohio. This will be the last of the lake effect as the high pressure takes hold. Going down south, we have some light rain showers across the Gulf states, all scattered around, a little bit of heavier activity in southern Louisiana. And we'll check out what's going on in the west, where we do have all sorts of areas of rain and snow in the southwest and in California. The west, Joe, these systems coming into the west, those are the ones that are moving eastward, two of them in particular that are going to impact the weather next week.
We'll be keeping an eye. I think I said on my Facebook page today with my forecast that I really didn't feel confident about Tuesday to the extent that I was not going to be goaded into putting out a snow map, at least until, well, probably Sunday will be the day when I might have enough confidence to do so. I might say, Joe, that I've already, looking around the dial last night, I already saw people, putting up, snow amounts for next Tuesday. And you should have seen, Renata said that we're rolling around so quickly that it looked like something out of a Las Vegas pinball machine when I saw that last night. I said, I can't believe it. They're putting out snow accumulation estimates for next Tuesday.
I can
Tuesday
believe
already.
it. I can believe it. It's a race to who can put the snow map up first, and
Yeah.
everyone seems to try to outdo the other. I usually have a rule in my mind that when we get into inside, when we're at 72 hours before start time, I usually am in a feel that I'm in a good place to put in an early call, and then when we get close to the event, I'll do a final call. And the thing is, with an early call, that's exactly what it is. It's a very broad view of what might happen, And unfortunately, most people, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Some people seem to take everything that comes out of our mouth as gospel. And so if you mention a possibility of something, or if you throw a number out there, they'll just hammer you with that number forever and ever. If it's if you wind up being too low, they'll scream at you for being too low. If you wind up being too high, they'll scream at you for being too high. So basically, they function in life to just sort of pick on people and scream at them. I've learned to just kind of ignore it. Um, what else are you going to do? No one can be in a position at this point where Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So you're talking, we were talking about 3 days before the first flakes even get close, and I, to put out something that you think is going to be correct 3 days out, you better be you better be awfully good to do that, because I don't know many
You
people
mean to
that
tell
are.
me, you mean to tell me that if you were at a network television station, that you wouldn't break into the middle of the network program to announce that the storm of the century is coming
Well, I'll
5 days?
no, no, but I'll tell you. I'll tell you what. Well, let me come back full screen since we're talking about this. I'll tell you what really bothers me more. You get annoyed with people putting out specific numbers this early in the game, and okay, I can sort of see that. Um, but I think what really does get me annoyed is the term major storm, and of course that winds up being thrown around all over social media, whether it's flurries or whatever it is. I would not certainly characterize what's going to happen on Tuesday as a major storm, and yet I saw a number of different um, uh, social media outlets, most of them not really all that reputable or known. Uh, just using that phrase just in order to get clicks, and it's
Now,
it's
wait a minute,
it's so dis it does.
I hate to cut you, I hate to cut you off, but now William Huber is saying Joe R, no sound. So is anybody out there hearing me right now? He's saying no sound. Tyrone 2678, no sound, choppier than some pork right now, Joe.
Oh,
And
okay.
then Garo Vesta says live is extremely choppy.
All right, so I'll tell you what. Let me try something. It's not my doing. It's YouTube. Let's see if I can
And,
I can do something with this.
and
Hold
Tim
on.
Feldman says try refreshing my sound. My sound is fine. So some people are reporting choppy. Other people are saying it's okay. I don't understand what's going on
Yeah,
here.
I don't know either. All right, and maybe this what I just did will work. So let's hope that this works. I lowered the bit rate a little bit. It seems to be coming and going here.
Quincy McCoy says, I hear you, Rayo. And Brandon Doherty, we can hear you, Joe. Um,
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know
John,
what to do here. I mean, it's yeah,
Michael
late.
Azera, my picture keeps buffering.
Video is a little choppy, but the sound is fine. Okay, I lowered the bit rate down. I'll lower it a little bit more. Maybe that'll help things. Uh, Again, my apologies, folks, but it's not my doing. Okay, please trust me. I don't wouldn't do anything like this on purpose. Uh, okay, somebody said they shut it down and turned it back on, and it was all good now. Okay.
Janet Dunn, not you guys, Joe and Joe.
Oh, okay, good. All right, so let's see if this helps, because now I'm getting like a steady green on the flow rate, so maybe that'll help hold it up a bit. All right, so yeah, what I was saying was, that the term winter storm being used in order to get clicks is just something that really just drives me crazy, because people forecast shop and they want to know why you're not saying the same thing.
Yeah, well,
That's something else I don't understand. Why are you asking me what I'm saying in order to compare it to somebody else? I
I
don't get
have
it.
I just have a strict rule, never try to be specific about any kind of impending storm, at least until you're within 72 hours of the event. But there are just some people out there who just can't that they have to, and maybe it's something from above. Maybe they're getting an inter-office memo saying, we want you to go out and stick your neck out 5 and 6 days out because that's how we keep viewers or that's how we get viewers or whatever. But I simply will not do that. And still a lot of uncertainty. As I said at the top of the show, European the last few days have been screaming, significant amounts, 5, 6, 7 inches maybe, and that kind of thing. And now all of a sudden it's pulled back. It's cut that in half. Meanwhile, the other
Yeah.
models are kind of like, now they're going with 4 and 5.
Well, look, I'll tell you what I've been saying in generalities. I mean, this to me looks like something that'll produce for some people a couple of inches, maybe a few spots might wind up getting about 3 or 4. But I'm hard pressed to find anything to support the notion that it would be more than that. That's where I'm at right now with this first system.
All right. Well, I think personally, whether it's going to hit us or not, the second system to me looks like a real exciting system, if for nothing else. That, as I said, once it gets out over the ocean, it should intensify rapidly. I love these. This goes back to my early days in weather when you'd lean over the Service A teletype and look for pressure falling rapidly along the mid-Atlantic coast because you knew that something special or something exciting was happening at that moment with the storm deepening rapidly. And I see that for the second system on Thursday, whether or not it will be able to come far enough north, whether or not the block will break down to allow it to come far enough north to affect us in any way, shape, or form, that's still yet to be seen. But
Right.
I like the looks of the system for Thursday as opposed to the one that's coming on Tuesday, which almost looks like, Joe, one long swath of warm air advection type snow, and that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Um, WPC had, I mean, we could derive what they're thinking out of this. So they've got the northern edge of a quarter to a half. Now, this is a 7-day rainfall liquid precip map. Okay. So you've got two systems here that we're dealing with. So if you look at the geography for a lot of our area, you're going to want to cut the precip in half and split it between the two of them, if that's what their mindset is. But they have the northern edge of a quarter to a half an inch right at New York City, and a half inch in southern New Jersey, Pennsylvania, half inch or better, except the Northeast, where it's a quarter to a half. And then you can see the big amounts down in Maryland, Delaware, Virginia, and coastal Virginia and North Carolina. Now, if that second thing winds up being a powerhouse, the bulk of that precip is going to wind up being in the form of snow. In the meantime, those systems coming into the west, as they come into the west, are producing big rains up and down the California coast of several inches or more from north to south, and also in inland areas in California getting heavy rain and some heavy snow. And the rains tail off a little bit as you head up into Washington and Oregon. But the systems that we're looking to come into the east are now coming into the west. The first one is, so they're coming in with a lot of energy. Now, how much of that energy gets spent out there, how much of it gets kicked out remains to be seen. But the source region is at play here, so it's you see the relationship of what's going on in the west, and then how it's going to translate later in the forecast period with what's going on in the east. The WPC folks on their we're still in the long range period now in the day 4, Joe, on their latest map. This was from noon today. So they have a 30 to 50% chance of the equivalent of a quarter of an inch of liquid equivalent of snow and sleet. So let's call it 2 to 3 inches. I've just kind of easily just called it the probability of 2 to 3 inches of snow. And it's a 10 to 30% chance moving into southern New England. They still are keeping this pretty far to the north with regards to the northern edge. And then you have the greater than 50% in covering central Pennsylvania. Part of it stretching to the east, part of it stretches to the west, and then a 70 to 90% chance of 2 to 3 inches right in the heart of central Pennsylvania. And you can see the southern edge going down into northern Virginia. So they're kind of holding on to the notion that, and they don't go any higher in terms of precip amount, but they are still holding on to the notion that there's going to be some snow here. And on Wednesday, because some of this carries over Tuesday during the daytime, so this is the forecast period Tuesday through Wednesday. I love this map, Joe. When it comes up on your screen, you'll see it because they have a 10 to 30% from not quite all the way down to southern New Jersey, but going from there to Long Island, Connecticut, and then on up the Hudson Valley. But they've got this little dot in Northeast PA. I don't know what that is or where that is, but they got this little tiny dot where it's 30 to 50%. How did they come up with
Is
that?
that the Poconos, or
I
it looks
guess,
like,
well,
well,
it might be a
you know
Pocono.
what it looks like? It looks like almost where my father-in-law lives in Monroe County, northeast Pennsylvania.
Maybe
So
that's where Hazleton is.
Hazleton or Bloomsburg or Avoca, you
Yeah, it
know,
could be.
that area.
I just thought this map was kind of funny, the way they had
Yeah.
it. All right, so I preloaded the upper air 500 so we could watch what happens in the block up to the north. And oh, but by the way, I meant to tell you this. There was a comment on the video, the live stream we did on Wednesday. A woman accused us of, and I quote, searing people.
What are we doing to people?
We're searing them. You know,
Searing them?
yeah, you know how you sear a roast for 15 minutes at 500 degrees before you turn it down to 350. We're
Well, who
searing
did you
them.
sear?
Oh, I think she meant to say scaring people because she said,
Oh,
"Stop searing people.
oh,
There's not
scaring
going to."
people.
She says, "Stop searing people. There's not going to be a major storm." Well, aside from the fact that we're not searing people. We're not coming after them with blowtorches. But I don't recall saying that there was going to be a major storm anywhere on Wednesday. Do you recall saying that it was going to be a major storm here on?
No, no.
No.
On
Okay.
Wednesday, no.
Yeah. Okay. So, you
Um,
know, some people have comprehension issues.
some
Okay.
people, some people, some people would relish, us scaring people,
Yes.
because then
Exactly.
that means that we're talking about something really significant or something really amazing, and we really have not. We've been more, you know, backtracking, and like saying what's going on here or whatever. We
Right.
haven't really had much to say in
No, we
recent
haven't.
days.
So here,
No.
I went back 3 days. So this is Tuesday. This is the block. Yeah, I marked it off. You can see how it doesn't move. The upper high. In the meantime, as we moved into Friday, we've got this cold flow out of Canada. And of course, that's brought down this nice cold air mass. We've been talking about the fact that the East Pacific Oscillation was positive for so long. Well, this is what a negative East Pacific Oscillation looks like because you've got this ridge built up into northwest Canada and into eastern Alaska. So whenever you see a ridge over there, that provides the channel or the alleyway for cold air to move through spread out through Canada, then drop into the United States. Now we mentioned this upper low, okay, earlier this week as part of the issue because it was the GFS in particular was taking the northern jet and trying to suppress things, and it would retrograde that low back northwestward, which is something we don't see very often. And you notice it's really kind of backed away from that, so we're not seeing that happen. Now here's our short wave for Monday. Looks like a really not a half bad looking short wave at this point. Here's the one for later next week. That's a powerhouse in the west. Now, as the lead short wave comes eastward, you'll notice, folks, it just kind of flattens out. You can barely find it here as it approaches us on Tuesday, and that's that's a big problem here, Joe. The upper support, if we had a well-defined short wave, then it would be a totally different story. But the weakness here in the upper air is to me signaling that there is a problem here with whatever's going to happen on Tuesday. And by problem, I mean that it is not going to be able to organize into something that will produce a meaningful snow event. How's that for a description? Joseph? Joseph.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
that's all
I
right.
was I was doing one thing, and I said I'm making too much noise. I don't want to, so I muted myself for a moment. What I was about to say was, in answer to your question, you've been saying, and we've been saying for days now, there simply isn't enough room with that big block to allow any kind of shortwave to hold together,
And
so to
there's the
speak,
block, by
from
the way.
from one end of the continent to the other. And that's been the problem.
Yeah, and that upper high just suppresses. Look at the flow is west to east across the northern Great Lakes and into New England. So it really, unless the shortwave maintained an identity, it really can't do anything. Now the second one, on the other hand, because the block, that upper high, see that big purple area up in northeastern Canada is the upper high, that weakens as the second shortwave moves eastward, and this one gets a chance to amplify. It still has to deal with a flow from the north into New England, which is still suppressing this to an extent, but less so than the first system. And now you get this wrapped up animal when it moves off the Virginia, North Carolina coast and just becomes a powerhouse once it's out in the ocean.
It's positively tilted. That's one of the problems, at
Yes.
least on the map that you have here. You want a negatively tilted trough. It goes negative, but by the time it goes negative, it's like halfway between Hatteras and Bermuda. That ain't going to do any good if you want that storm to come northward. But
Yeah,
we
right.
still have some time.
Yeah, and right here at this point, this is late Wednesday night. At this point, the short wave is kind of tilted north-south. It looks like it's getting ready to go negative, but the problem, this is the problem. You've got this upper low over Newfoundland, and you've got this northerly flow in New England that also needs to get out of the way. And while the block itself is weakening, the flow in New England is not weakening fast enough. And yeah, then it goes negative when it goes out, into the ocean. And
Right.
now I'm sorry, I was just going to say in the
Yes,
longer
yes, that's
range.
right. Yes, yes.
Yeah,
I'm agreeing with you.
yeah, okay, no, I'm sorry. And then in the longer range, you get a temporary respite here because the upper high is gone for a few days, but then it comes roaring back again later in the forecast period. So we're going to be back to dealing with a blocking high. Maybe this time around, Joe, the block will be a few hundred miles further east, and that will allow more storminess to impact the eastern United States. I don't know, but we are going to go back to a blocky signature, and the teleconnections show that. So um, we'll have to wait and see how all of this plays out, obviously, but. It does seem like the block will take a temporary break and then try to come back later in the forecast period uh, after a couple of days of disappearing.
And there are people on the chat board right now that are talking about how, this next 6 to 10 day period might be our shot, our chance to get something in terms of snowy or wintry precipitation, because after 6 to 10 days, it seems, at least to a few people on the chat board, that we go back to a uh, quote blowtorch type scenario as we approach or move into the new month of February.
I don't. Well, blowtorches. Usually when I talk, you reference a blowtorch. To me, that's always when temperatures are setting records, and we'd be getting into the 60s this time of year. But we'll see. We may have to warm up for at least a few days until the block gets settled again. As far as what's showing up on the surface map, let's look at the first system, and then we'll look at the second. So we'll just give it a moment here for all the little frames to load as the circle of death spins round and round. Round and round and round it goes. Oh Lord! I mean,
And you pick a number for $5,000, and you pick a number for 10,000. Now,
right.
neither one of these numbers come up. The questions were at 2,000. All right, Matilda, spin
Oh,
the wheel.
here we go. So we finally got a few of them in here. All right. So here's tonight. You can see the storminess out in the west with snow in the Rockies and back in the Wasatch and into Nevada. Rain in Southern California. Nice cold push there. Should be on the windy side, especially along the coast tomorrow, with all those
35 miles plus. Yeah,
with all
yeah.
those
Those winds.
isobars cranking.
Yeah.
And then the core of the cold air is over us tomorrow night into Sunday morning. We watch a weak little trough there in the western lakes with an area of snow, and then finally that falls apart. And then, of course, excuse me, our low forms in Texas, and starts to move northeastward. And looking at this going into Monday afternoon into Monday evening, actually, when you look at the way the precip shield breaks down, it looks pretty impressive. And then you look at the presentation on the radar, and it also looks pretty impressive at this point. But it's after this point that the models start to suppress and they start to weaken that upper support. And you wind up here's the tip off, Joe, is the fact that the secondary Monday night forms way out to the east of North Carolina. If it was going to form,
Right.
if it were to form right along the immediate North Carolina coast, this would be a whole different ball game, I think, that we're playing. But if the secondary forms out here, that's no good. With a primary in central Indiana, that low just runs out to the east, and you're basically left with a dying primary to produce whatever precip it produces. And I'm just not so sure that you're going to be able to produce very much out of this.
Yeah, I worked with a guy for a few years, and he used to talk about the fact that when you had the primary coming in through, let's say, the Ohio Valley, and then the secondary forming out, you know, off of the Mid-Atlantic coast out to the east, that unfortunately, in a lot of cases, let's say we in the tri-state area, end up in the no man's land zone where something is happening to the west, something is happening to the east, and we just get the scattered remains and
Right.
not much to get excited about. And that may be what the European is picking up on now.
Mm-hmm.
That secondary is going to take over and take a lot of the meaningful, steady precipitation out away to the east. Not to say that we're not going to see anything, let's say Monday night, late or Tuesday, but it's just not, enough to give you the 4, 5, 6 inch totals that the models were hemming and hawing about, for the past few
Right.
days. So
Right.
something to see.
So that goes out, and that'll probably have an impact on the next low, which you start to see forming here on Wednesday with a low in western Tennessee. And of course, you've got this beautiful 1040 high over James Bay. Now, the block is weakening now. So this is allowing this to move further north, and actually, it looks pretty impressive here. Thursday morning, if I was running the GFS from frame by frame earlier today, and I saw this and I thought, whoa, that's new, going further north with the primary in West Virginia, and of course the secondary here, right on the North Carolina coast. And I was thinking maybe on the next frame the snow would be up to New York City and then keep going northeast. But what happens is that that's as far north as it gets because of the fact that you still have some semblance of a block too far to the west, and you've got some suppression going on. Now, of course, all the energy is getting focused on the secondary, which starts to explode, and you've got this monster that forms east of the North Carolina coast. Now, if this verifies, Joe, I think places in Virginia, Maryland, the Eastern Shore, Delaware, maybe even into southern New Jersey, may get into the solid snow stuff out of it for at least a few hours before the low pulls away. This could be something more significant for places in Virginia, as you said, maybe into northern North Carolina and in Maryland. The Washington D.C., Baltimore. This might be something for them if this continues to verify with the idea of it going out off the North Carolina coast and then going straight east and intensifying rapidly.
And let's also talk about the fact that we really are not going to have any real definitive idea as to what this second system is going to do until the first system gets out of the way.
Right.
We have to see how the first system develops and whether or not it will have, and I think it will have a say in where this second system is going to go. So just stay tuned because new stuff could happen between now and next Wednesday and Thursday.
The Canadian, by the way, shows you what could happen if the block relaxes a bit faster and the upper low, the system that's out near Newfoundland pulls away a little faster because it took the low more to the northeast. So on the Canadian model, it brushes Long Island and central New Jersey, even gets it almost into North Jersey, the northern fringe of the snow there, and also explodes this, but it's much further to the north. And this is because the Canadian wants to weaken the block even faster and makes it even more significant. But we are out at, we're talking about out at 100, hour 144 to 168 here. So um, there is room. There certainly is room for variability in subsequent runs to watch to see what the models do and whether they start tilting northward, or maybe they'll wind up getting even more suppressed and go further south, which is what the European has with a low near Savannah and moving east northeast from there toward Bermuda.
And I talked about when I said it with the first system, I said still too early to post a snow map, but the waffle factor is still on the high side. And by Sunday, hopefully, I'll have enough confidence to post one. But then I said the second storm is going to be what happens to the second storm depends strongly on what happens to the first. And if we're waffling on the first, how can we possibly even say anything much more than there's going to be a storm of some significance, a robust initially, as it looks right now, for Thursday and Thursday night, and where that storm eventually goes, again, will be highly dependent upon what happens Monday night and Tuesday, what that storm delivers. But some of the computer models indeed are suggesting that second threat could indeed be more robust. Um, so 6 days out, precise track still in doubt. Stay tuned.
Yes. And let me acknowledge now the super chat hitters for tonight. Bill Fisher hitting super chat. Joe, he says, I love this show because they, being you and I, don't just hype things up just to get clicks, just the dependable facts. Thank you, Bill. I appreciate that. Joe and I appreciate that very much. That's pretty much how we operate here. We tell you what we
Yes,
think is going on. Put it this way: if Joe and I tell you to worry, worry,
that's right.
because we seldom tell people to worry. So when we're concerned, you be concerned. That's kind of when we say we're worried, then you worry. David Fuller hitting super chat tonight. Thank you, David. Very generous of you. Appreciate it. And Robert Russo. Uh, thanks. He says thanks to the best weatherman around. Well, I'll assume that you mean for the both of us. Thank you, Robert, very very much. Oh, we've got a few trolls on the board, and it's always fun. I'm going to read what. Let me see if they say anything. Couch Chip 17 wants to trash our channel and that we're a lie. Oh, God. Fledweather. My buddy Fledweather says the models were showing Tuesday storm near the Gulf Coast last week. Now it's in the lower Ohio Valley. See a trend? Question mark. Hint, hint. Implications for Thursday. Well, I think he has a valid point there, Joe. The models were very suppressed with this, and we see how much further north this thing's wound up. So, and I think Joe pointed out the waffle factor here is still in effect. So, yeah, I think there's room for this to move further north if the block relaxes, and that's going to that is going to be key. Let's see if models pick up on that relaxing block and push it up in the next couple of runs. If they do, then maybe we'll have something exciting for snow lovers to talk about.
Maybe, just maybe. We'll see. I said from the start, from the very beginning of this week, I said, I don't know about this week so much, but if you remember, I said next week looks exciting, more exciting than we've had in more than a month. So we've got two shots. Let's see how it all pans out Tuesday and Thursday, and we'll see that Thursday system. One of the things I'm thinking about, Joe, I also said with this strong block and this strong high that we could end up with a sharp cutoff. And I'm just saying to myself, yeah, it'll cut off at Route 6 near the Putnam Westchester line. And meanwhile, I'll be watching on TV the New York stations reporting. They'll have reporters out there with 6 and 8 inches falling and winds flying about, and I'll be right at the point where nothing is happening with that second system. We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm just running through the chat tonight to see if there's any other questions. Again, sorry earlier for the technical difficulties, but things seem to have settled down because no one's saying that they can't hear us or can't see us, so that's a good thing. So maybe that little adjustment I made solve the problem. Could the 28th system move to New Jersey? Well, it's going to have to. We're going to have to see models shift further north for that to happen. I wouldn't rule it out. I certainly think it's possible. Um, let's see. Damon and McKenna, another troll. He says, "Why are you lying? It's going to be a bust. You're wrong." I love reading what stupid people put up. What oh my God, Sakaidi Gindo was timed out by Timothy Veltman, and then he was timed out by Johnny Quest. I think she's trying to put YouTube, or he trying to put YouTube video links up for of showing nasty things. Are you
Just
with? I'm
yes,
sorry.
I'm with you. I'm typing something out myself here.
Oh, okay. Well, in the meantime, you know what? I don't know if the chairman sent me a Briller Jeopardy tonight. I don't think he did. But Sunday we're going to have a special Briller Jeopardy because it's going to be another cooking Briller Jeopardy. But this time we're going to have Mrs. Rayo in the hot seat.
It's this Sunday.
It's this coming Sunday.
I think she thought that it was going to be the following Sunday, but because we were discussing that briefly this afternoon.
We'll tell her.
Said,
I think it's this. I think it's this Sunday. I'll know for sure if tomorrow he sends me the questions.
Okay.
So I'll let you know. But I'm pretty sure he said this Sunday.
All right. And I know she's on the chat board and probably listening to this right now.
Yes. Let's see. I know, John K. I was supposed to ignore the trolls, but you know what? It's a Friday night and I had a glass of wine, so I'm just kind of. I'm. I'm just feeling mischievous. I'm being mischievous tonight.
How many likes do we have? I haven't even had a chance to look.
Without even asking for them, Joe, 108 likes without even asking for them. So that's pretty good.
Wonderful.
So anyway, all right. So I guess. Oh wait, he just said January 31st. Oh, David Schwartz. Hold on. David Schwartz sent me a Jeopardy question. He did send it to me. Oh, I remember it now. All right, so here's his question, Joe. It's a TV trivia question. Name the shows that were spun off from the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Well, we had Rhoda.
Ding.
And we had Phyllis. And we had Phyllis.
Ding.
Did we have anything else? I don't think.
Yeah, we have one more.
Really?
One more.
Oh, Lou Grant.
Lou Grant. Yes, you got all three, and you know what that means, don't you? You get to go on. You get to go on your own.
I get a chance to pluck out the $500 from your pocket.
No, even better than that. You get to go on your own personal shopping spree at Dicker and Dicker of Beverly Hills.
Joe, I think you had a little bit more.
I only had the one glass, but I haven't had a glass of wine all week, and I guess I just feel good tonight. I don't know.
You sound like you're in a happy mood.
Yeah, no, I suddenly got I guess it was reading the trolls. I think once that I started reading the troll stuff, it just got, I don't know, like I said, I got mischievous. I'm a little devil tonight. Pete Castellano got in here late. What's the forecast for Monday night for Central New Jersey? All right, I'm going to just tell you, Pete, I am not overwhelmed by what's going on for Monday night. I said that earlier. Maybe it could wind up being a couple of inches, but it doesn't look like anything. Definitely, I don't think anything substantial is going to come out of this. Okay, now that I've said that, you know what's going to happen. And Janet Dunn says, I'm happy because it's going to snow. Well, I guess. Probably. By the way, I'm still down in North Georgia, so if it does snow on Monday, I still haven't decided whether I'm going to get in the car and drive up on Monday. But if I don't, on Sunday, but if I don't, I will, and it looks like the Thursday system is going to be something significant that I will be back for that one. So just bear that in mind. Oh, I see. So Garo Vesta says the trolls are David Schloudhauer and Chip are from California and they're YouTube meteorologists. Oh, I see. Oh, okay. Well,
that means That means they're like 12 and 14-year-olds who
Right,
think they know everything, since they look at
right.
the stuff on
Well,
tropical crickets or whatever.
Well, I would advise them that if they're trying to build a YouTube following, going on other people's channels and trashing them is probably not the right way to do it. Okay, especially especially me. Okay, because I have a reputation for being a pretty decent person. So you get more flies with honey than you get with vinegar. Uh, Brad
And
DeBauer or DeBauer, I hope I pronounced that correctly. He has not only hit Super Chat Joe, but he has hit Super Chat from Canada. And Brad,
wow,
thank you very much for doing that. Also, again, thanks to Robert Russo, David Fuller, and Bill Fisher for hitting Super Chat tonight. The Taco Cat thinks I'm funny.
could the rain and snow line change in southern PA on Tuesday? I know that the Weather Service in Mount Holly was talking about a variety of possible precipitation types on Tuesday, and they, spent a good deal of time talking about it, but really didn't unravel the puzzle, so to speak. So what they just said was basically, yeah, we think there's going to be something unusual or unsettled here on Tuesday, but we're not sure who's going to get what. So stay tuned,
Yeah.
which once again falls in
Let,
line.
let
Now,
wait, hold on, Joe. Let me save David Schwartz from the guillotine on the chat board. David Schwartz, David S is our David Schwartz. He's fine. Okay, so leave him be. He's fine. Okay, it's
if
whoever that other person, that other name that Garrow mentioned. Yeah,
do you want to
that's not David S. This is David S. Here is our good guy. He's a good guy.
sharing the screen? Could you allow me to share a screen with a
Oh, Joe,
an
it would be not only a pleasure, but it would be an honor. One moment, please. Should I get another glass of wine? I'm having a good time. I could be.
I I think you are.
Isn't it better for
Hey,
me to be like this than to be surly?
we may have to cut this short.
Why?
So if we go another 10 minutes here, I
Uh,
don't know what's
Go
going to
ahead, share
happen.
this. I have given you the ability to share the screen, so by all means, please do.
All right. Do you know the episode of The Honeymooners where they don't want to pay the landlord for the extra hike in the rent,
Right,
and so they get put out in
right.
the snow?
Yes.
Well, there's somebody has just joined Ralph and Alice in agreement that Mr. Johnson, the landlord, is indeed unfair in all of this.
Yeah, those gloves are fabulous. They look like claws, don't they? Look like claws. They look
They look
like
like
they
claws.
they look like bear claws.
It's and you know who's reveling in all of this? Chris Christie. Chris Christie is finally
Yes.
saying, finally, I'm
No,
no longer
they put pictures up of both of them side by side.
both of them side by side. But I mean, but everybody now is going with Bernie, burn baby burn, and you can see there Ralph looking skyward at the snow, and maybe all of us will be doing the same thing on Tuesday of next week. Anyway, I'm stopping the share here. So
All right. Well, we're back on the screen. So, uh, all right. Yeah, I guess we've had enough fun for tonight. So, thanks everybody for being here and actually putting up with me. I don't know why. I just suddenly not that I'm ever in a bad mood from being on the show, but for some reason tonight, I guess when I started reading the troll posts, that it just got me going. So I would have been just as funny without the alcohol. Just to be clear.
okay,
Joe knows me long enough to know that I'm telling the truth here. That I could be I could be darn well vicious without the alcohol, right?
yes.
Come on.
Do you have down where you are? Do you have Me TV?
I'm on. Yeah, I think I do have it. I just haven't found what channel it is.
You must find Me TV, and you must wake up tomorrow and between 9 and 10 o'clock, the
Oh, I'll be
cartoons that
up.
you and I grew up with.
Are they
I mean,
editing them? Are they changing them? Because
no, they haven't. They haven't. It was amazing. The one with Daffy Duck and Porky Pig, where Daffy saying to Porky, "Go ahead, but it ain't going to do you any good." And then he's pulling signs up and saying "duck season" and "here I am" and "shoot me" or whatever. And Porky actually has a rifle and he actually shoots Daffy. And I thought, this is wonderful. I thought they were going to.
Well, I can't imagine why they would change it. Kids don't watch MeTV. I mean, unless they're
No,
unless they're
this most
TV
definitely
addicts. But
these cartoons are definitely for people like you and I who grew up
right,
with them.
they ruined our lives. We deserve to watch them.
7 to 8 o'clock. It's the good Popeyes, not the ones that came later when he's wearing the white sailor suit. I'm talking about the 1930s Max Fleischer
Oh, the Max
Popeyes.
Fleischer ones, yeah.
Oh, those were classics. Then between 8 and 9, you have Tom and Jerry. If you're into Tom and Jerry,
Never
I
was a
always
big.
loved
I
Tom
was
and
never
Jerry.
a big Tom and Jerry fan.
Well, I preferred them as opposed to Herman and Catnip.
Yeah, no,
The
I really didn't care for either one. They weren't big on my list. But definitely, Bugs Bunny and you
and they
know,
had the one last week, Joe, with the frog. Between 8 and 9 and
oh,
10 o'clock, the
yeah,
dancing frog.
Michigan J
Hey,
Frog,
honey.
right? Hello, my baby. Hello, my
Hello.
honey. Hello, my ragtime gal.
I mean, I wake up to those and like I'm still in bed. Renata's trying to get like a few more winks of sleep before, and she's saying, "Would you turn that down, please?" I mean, you just imagine it's like I'm reveling in this with Sylvester there, You never know where you're going until
To
you get
get
there.
there.
You never know where you're going until you get there.
Oh God. The Joe and Joe Weather Show is brought to
Who's
you
drinking
by
now, Joe?
right. It's brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware, Long Island's largest rock salt source, and a source for everything you need to get through any winter storms when or if they materialize. 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon. 631-756-1125 for the best prices in town. They serve the entire tri-state area, so just give them a call. The website is omnitruevalue.com. And remember, folks, they are a local business, and it's a good idea, especially in these difficult times we live in, to support local businesses. So Joe and I will be back on Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, so be sure you tune in for the Sunday morning Joe and Joe Weather Show.
Yes, sir.
All right.
And
Have a
maybe on
great.
Sunday, and maybe Sunday we'll have a better idea as to who's going to get hammered with snow, either on Tuesday or Thursday or both or neither.
Maybe we should do Friday night shows and just drink because it's Friday night. Because it's Friday night.
It is Friday.
Exactly. All right. I'll see you on Sunday morning. Good
Yes,
night,
sir.
everybody.